Good afternoon and welcome to the January 8th, 2025 Lenawee County Board of Commissioners meeting. I'd ask everyone if they would please rise, and we will have the invocation by our county clerk, Roxanne Holloway, and then she will follow that with the pledge. Thank you.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, as we meet this afternoon, we ask for your wisdom because you are the source of all knowledge and understanding. Guide us in the discussions held and decisions made, helping us to seek what is best for our community, Lord. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Clerk Holloway. And now if you'd please call the roll.
Commissioner Ungst,
Here.
Commissioner Blanco,
Here.
Commissioner Collins, Commissioner Daly,
Here.
Commissioner Krasny,
Here.
Commissioner Martis,
Here.
Commissioner Stimpson,
Here.
Commissioner Tillotson, Commissioner Van Doren,
Here.
9 present.
We have 2 sets of minutes to approve. First of all, it'd be approval of the minutes of December 11th, 2024.
So moved. Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Collins, supported by Commissioner Martis. Any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. The minutes are approved. Organizational minutes of January 3rd, 2025.
So moved. Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Martis, supported by Commissioner Ungst. Additions or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Minutes are accepted. Amendments to the agenda. Does anybody have any amendments to the agenda?
If there are no amendments, I would move that we accept them as printed.
Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Tillotson, supported by Commissioner Martis. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carried. Petitions and communications.
I do have one. It's a resolution and it's from Ingham County, and it's reaffirming that Ingham County is a welcoming community to immigrants. And that's all that I have.
Commissioners? Thank you. Introduction of special guests. Limited public comment on agenda items. Deb Comstock on committee appointments. Morning.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome
afternoon.
to the new folks here. I'd just like to make a comment about the politicization of government. I'm here because I have a good friend here, John Tuckerman, who I've known forever, who's a respectable farming man, business, worked in this commission. And we seem to make enemies of people that we don't want on committees. We just dismiss them. You know, there's some value to opposing opinions, isn't there? Don't we gain from learning from other people and listening to what they say, even if it's not in the position that we currently have? I'm very concerned, this is my government here, that we stop politicizing these positions. We need all kinds of people and all kinds of public servants, and we seem to have lost what that word means, public servant. It doesn't mean working in your best interest. It means working in the best interest of this county. So I urge everyone on here, new and old, to take this into consideration. You represent all people here, and all people and all different people in our society and our community represent those people too. So I hope we can just stop the politicization of appointments on this board. Thank you.
Thank you. Todd Gilman on board appointments.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Todd Gilman, Cambridge Township. Yesterday I was here and made a public comment, referring to Commissioner Stimpson's, thought process on transparency with the Board of Commissioners. I do have one question. It's a hypothetical question. If a lawyer on this board has a client, would he have to disclose that before he would vote for said client to be in a position of authority within the government here in Lenawee County? That's all I got. Thank you.
I would.
Okay, that's only ones that were passed up to me. So resolutions and proclamations. We have a school board member recognition month. The ISD superintendent, Mr. Haig, is here along with Yvonne Thomas, the president of the Lenawee Association of School Boards. So if you'd please come forward, the proclamation will be offered by Commissioner Krasny.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's a lot of pressure on me in front of the pride of Onstead, Mr. Haig here. So I'm going to try not to embarrass all my public school educators. Whereas Local School Board Recognition Month, whereas providing for the education of Michigan's school-aged children is a fundamental duty of state government as stated in the Michigan Constitution of 1963. Whereas the education of our youth is the foundation upon which the economic, social, and intellectual capital of our state is built. And whereas locally elected school boards play an important and vital role in a representative democracy, and decisions made by local boards of education directly influence instruction in Michigan's public schools. And whereas our 82 local board members contribute hundreds of hours each year leading their districts, whether it is by deliberating important decisions about curriculum, adopting policies, hiring top-notch personnel and administrators, listening to staff, parents, and student concerns, or recognizing outstanding programs, board members always keep their eye on the goal of student achievement. And whereas these decisions affect the present and future lives of children and also set direction to prepare all students to be competitive in local, state, national, and global 21st century knowledge economy. And whereas local school board members are exceptional people who tackle the enormous job of governing school districts and demonstrate to the nearly 15,000 K-12 students in Lenawee County the high character of civic duty and responsibility that all students should engage. And whereas Local School Board Member Recognition Month provides an opportunity to build stronger relationships between the thousands of women and men who champion the cause of public education as board members, their schools, and the communities they serve. And therefore, it be resolved that the Lenawee County Board of Commissioners recognize the contributions of the local boards of education to the academic success of public school students and express its sincerest appreciation for their focus on the well-being and achievement of children throughout the county. And be it further resolved that the Lenawee County Board of Commissioners proclaims January 2025 as Local School Board Member Recognition Month in Lenawee County, and encourage local school districts and community leaders to appropriately recognize dedicated local school board members. Passed by a roll call vote of the Lenawee County Board of Commissioners at a regular meeting held Wednesday, January 8th, 2025 in the Old County Courthouse, Adrian, Michigan, signed by Chairman James Van Dorn and County Clerk Roxanne Holloway. I so move.
Have a resolution offered by Commissioner Krasny, supported by Commissioner Martis. Discussion. Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Ungst,
Yes.
Commissioner Blanco,
Yes.
Commissioner Collins,
Yes.
Commissioner Daly,
Yes.
Commissioner Krasny,
Yes.
Commissioner Martis.
Yes.
Commissioner Stimson, Commissioner Tillotson,
Yes.
Commissioner Van Doren,
Yes.
9 yeses.
Resolution passes.
Like to thank everyone, school board. We all join the school board to make a difference. Thank you for seeing that.
Thank you for your work.
And I'll just add, it's always good to have a unanimous vote, by the way. No, but, it's a crucial time right now for, it always is, in my opinion, public education. But I will say, having worked with a lot of board members in different areas over the years, just like your elected position, there's a lot of trials, challenges, and new things thrown at them all the time. So, like I always said, as a government teacher, these more local levels of government have more impact, in my opinion. And so if folks have concerns with their local schools, I'll say either get involved, or because there haven't been that many competitive races in those board elections, to be honest. So thank you, though.
Thanks again, Mark.
Well, we would concur with you, Mr. Hague. Your boards and the local township and zoning boards, along with the Board of Commissioners, are the people that are closest to the electorate. So these committees are. So thank you. Special presentations. I don't believe we have any. So we'll move to approval of the consent agenda.
I so move.
Question.
I have a motion by Commissioner Martis, supported by Commissioner Tillotson. No, who supported it?
He had a question.
I have a question.
Let me get a
Yeah,
second, please. Is there support?
Support?
We have support. Go ahead, Commissioner Tillotson.
In yesterday's business, everything went on a consent agenda, correct?
No.
Okay.
No, we have pulled off board appointments, standing committees, and the
Consumers.
easement for Consumers Energy. They have to be voted on separately because there were some no votes.
Thank you.
You bet. Any other discussion? Consent agenda. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Blanco,
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Commissioner Daly.
Yes.
Commissioner Krasny.
Yes.
Commissioner Martis.
Yes.
Commissioner Stimson.
Yes.
Commissioner Tillotson.
Yes.
Commissioner Van Doren.
Yes.
Commissioner Ungst.
Yes.
9 yeses.
Okay, consent agenda is passed. We're going to go to standing committees, and we only have two to report on today. The first one will be accounts payable, and it'll be presented by Commissioner Collins.
Well, accounts payable met on the 12th of December. There were vouchers submitted, the total amount of $1,869,734.87. The general fund portion being $250,513.97. They also met for year end. Administrator Murphy covered that well yesterday, and I assume can answer any further questions today.
That a motion to
Oh, I'm sorry, I would move to approve the vouchers as submitted.
Or
I have a motion by Commissioner Collins, supported by Commissioner Tillotson. Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Rules and Appointments, Personnel and Ways and Means to presented by Chairman of that committee, Commissioner Martis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would point out to the public that, of course, these three committees have now been combined into one, whereas formerly Rules and Appointment was a standalone committee. We did have three items that were not on the consent agenda. And so the first is a matter of standing committees. So I move that we adopt the standing committees as sent yesterday.
Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Martis to approve the standing committee, supported by Commissioner Blanco. Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Moving on to our next item, we have the matter of the 2025 board appointments. I move that we proceed with the board appointments as recommended yesterday.
Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Martis, supported by Commissioner Blanco. Discussion. Commissioner Collins.
Well, initially, I will renew my objection to the removal of the individual. We all know it's Mr. Tuckman from the Board of Health. He has served that board honorably and professionally since 2007, 8, whatever, for many years. Most poignantly, he served as president through that board through the COVID crisis, and he did so with absolute total professionalism. That board had if there was any board in Lenawee County that had difficulties meeting after meeting, it was that board during the COVID crisis, and he did that with aplomb. I can't say enough. I understand that all the staff from the health department and the members of the current board are totally in his support. I just don't understand why a man with his background, his knowledge of the government of Lenawee County and the operation of the health department, and the fact that he has done it so well for so long, and I might add, as chairman. He has served it as chairman. At the last health board meeting, he was appointed chairman for the coming year. And I can't understand why that position is being removed. I was told yesterday when I brought this up that the reason for doing so was to bring fresh personnel into the meetings. And we need freshness on the boards as appointed. Well, I took that to heart. I went home and I spent most of the evening going through all these appointments. Not only did I have issue with that one, but two more arose to me. First one being, as I looked through these appointments for everybody that was appointed to the committee, he is the only one who was involuntarily removed. I don't understand how we're getting freshness in our committees when we remove only one individual, a board chairman who has served that board honorably and professionally for many, many years. Yet he is the only one removed. And I have my own beliefs as to why he was removed. Secondly, I will ask, and you can answer these as they come, the Airport Zoning Board of Appeals, because I looked at everything much closer last night. I have a question. If this is a board that represents Lenawee County, why do we have one representative from District 6, one representative from District 4, and 3 from District 7? How are we representing Lenawee County? Where is the member from Hudson, from Cambridge, from Clinton? Where are they? Who's representing Lenawee County? District 7 is on this board. And third, and I will apologize ahead of time if I'm incorrect here. Yesterday, we selected an individual to the Veterans Appeal Board, the Veterans Board, based on the fact that we had two applicants. And we chose from those two applicants, as has been the policy and procedure in this county since I've been here on every committee. I would ask, are those new individuals other than are those new individuals in totem all the way through? Did they submit applications to Lenawee County for a job? Did they submit their interest in one of these boards? If not, then that's an error because they were not chosen, from the board or from the list of applicants for that position. And I would like all three of those questions answered.
Okay. Question 3 too, because it's right here, is that we do have an applicant. I'm not sure if we have the application, but when they said that they wanted to serve on the board, we told them to fill out the
I
application.
have not asked anyone, so that's why I apologize in advance.
What was the 2 questions?
First was the removal of the individual from the health board. And the second was why we have so many people loaded up from District 7 on the Airport Zoning Board of Appeals. That's not representative of Lenawee County.
No, actually, they were chosen for their positions of where they served, and I didn't even realize, Commissioner Collins, that all 4 of them were in District 7.
They were selected, I'm sorry, because of their professionalism.
Yeah, because
Nobody else in the county has such professionalism.
no, that's not the case. These people showed an interest, so. And what was your last question?
You already answered.
Okay.
That's terrible.
Other discussion, Commissioner Stimson.
I echo those same concerns, Terry, because the appointment list that you see there doesn't just reflect what you're referencing in those subcommittees, but it reflects a freezing out of many of the districts within the county because they have a minority votes. We heard a person come before the county today talking about, let's put these grudges beside, let's work together for the betterment of all of the county. The city of Tecumseh is not represented almost anywhere in any committee level ever. If you go through that appointment, the city of Tecumseh has been removed from standing appointments, liaison appointments, with the exception of a very handful, which the chair doesn't have the authority to appoint. So you're absolutely right. There has been some shenanigans. And as it relates to the health department one, it would appear it's retaliatory in nature. I am aware that the chairman of that Personal Ways and Means Committee now, and what was previously Rules and Appointments, and that individual have a disagreement. In fact, there was a filing within the Elections Division of some campaign financing, which Our Home, Our Vision, which Commissioner Martis sat here and triumphed all last year about how they were great and how he was involved in it and how he was doing these things, was sent as a violation by Mr. Tuckerman to the state elections and found to be in violation. And that's still in the process of resolving whether they will make a referral to the Attorney General's office for criminal prosecution. That's how that works. There's a letter dated to Mr. Martis's Our Home, Our Vision from the Department of State in October. That letter indicates at the bottom that there's substantial findings. That letter signed off by the regulatory attorney for regulations divisions for the Bureau of Elections. He's saying that there has to be a resolution on these issues within 90 days that was issued in October. So that resolution hasn't reached its 90 days yet, or it will be referred to the Attorney General's for criminal prosecution. This would appear to be a retaliation for asking someone to investigate this issue. So we're trying to silence something, not just purely we want to remove someone we don't like, but clearly a retaliation. So I have great exception to this type of behavior. It never has it been the case. And then to compound that with not a single one of these people that I ever see an application for, a request for, they've always been provided before when we had the Veterans Affairs 2 individuals. We got a copy of both of them. We heard who they were. That's been the policy and procedures, but it isn't now. So ask yourself that question. What are we doing here? What are we really doing here but meting out vengeances? That's not how government leads. That's not how we should be leading. That's ridiculousness. You have 3 commissioners that have been on this board for more than 50 years worth of service. They represent probably less than 10% of the appointments because they share a different opinion or reflect their constituents' opinion. And there's been an effort, a concerted effort to silence that involvement in county government. That is atrocious. And I understand that people took offense to it yesterday, but it's offensive when you do that. And I will continue to call out offensive behavior.
Commissioner Martis.
Couple points of fact, there will not be criminal charges filed in any respect, and we've reached a consensus with the Board of Elections. It's utter nonsense. Secondly, I appreciate Commissioner Stimson's full-throated support of his client, and that's his job, and I appreciate that. This is nothing more than about trying to find the best candidates in every committee, and we will continue to do this as we go forward. There's been a strong appeal for people to break up the good old boys network that they feel is invested in these committees. And we have many people who have served there for many decades, and they want to see change. And we will continue to advocate for that change, and I expect to continue to hear the howls of discontent as we move forward, but we are resolute and will continue to make change.
Commissioner Tillotson.
Well, you, you've heard me say several times that a wise man changes his mind and a fool never does. Yesterday, I voted with a majority, and I've been doing a lot of searching since that meeting got closed. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, and everybody can choose, but longevity is something that can be good as well as bad. I guess I'm on the side of longevity because I've been here longer than anybody else. But I really don't have any, everybody on this board is my friend. But when it comes to business, I'm going to represent Adrian Township and Raisin Township. And I'm going to represent all townships within the county commission as much as I can. Meaning, if somebody needs something and my townships don't need it, and I can be of service to them, I want to join that. But really what I want to speak about is John Tuckerman. And I had the privilege of serving with him. He came up through the ranks. He was chairman of the Board of Commissioners. We sat here today and we have 9 people. I see 2 that have been the chairman of the Board of Commissioners. It is a very prestigious job. It is a job that's generally it's a job that's really well thought of, and people look up on most of those people because they do a good job. Dustin, I'm sorry, did I miss a person? Because you did this. Okay, that's fine. If I did, I want to correct myself. But getting back to John, John's done a pretty good job. And when he got done, he kind of bid us goodbye. And as some people on these boards go away, they'll stay on a board or 2. And that's where John was on that board, and he stayed on that board. He has done a really, really good job. Now, I'm not here to complain about whether somebody did so-and-so or such and such. But we're talking about that person and his commitment. He has done a very good job. And him and I didn't always agree. In fact, one of the biggest arguments we've had during the period of time that he was chair was a pretty hot thing with him and I. But it doesn't make any difference. There's a difference between friendship and business. And I just want to say that, as I stated when I started, a wise man changed his mind, a fool doesn't. And I'm going to change my vote when I get a chance. No offense to anybody for anything that has went on, but we should discuss these things, and we should be able to understand, and everybody can think like they want to, but this whole world is about getting together, doing things, and some of the things we're the most against, in the end, we learn from. So I'm not here to complain about anything that has went on in any elections. I really do think that he should be back in the health department because he's served well. He's went through the test of time. And it says quite a lot when a person from the Board of Health comes and says to us, gosh, I hate to see him lose and not be there because they just appointed him chairman again. So with that, I just want to state the fact that I think that John's done well, and I would like to see him continue.
Commissioner Collins.
You might understand from the explanation of one of my questions that the procedure henceforth is going to be, yeah, I want to be a member. All right, you're on, but now apply. Is that the procedure we're using from henceforth? Because that's what you just did. Is that the procedure?
No,
Didn't we just do that?
no, I'll refer to, the administrator here, but, in my last time going around and this time, it's pretty difficult to find a number of people for a number of these, committees. And so in searching out, lots of times when they get a hold of us, we have them fill out an application and send it to us. Or we go out and we search them out. But normally don't we have an application for just about everyone on the committee?
Which committee are we referring to here, or is it just a generalized statement? Because if we're referring to the particular position that is of contention right now, no, we do not have an application from the new person that is being suggested for that board. We have no contact information for that individual.
Well,
So I'll renew my question.
Yeah.
okay, there is information because I did furnish the information to Carissa.
But the board doesn't have this information.
The administrator doesn't need this
Yesterday.
information.
Neither the board nor the administrator has this information, and we're told it's forthcoming. Oh, by the way, we already voted on it, but the application's now forthcoming.
If I can clarify that, apparently we have her phone number, but we do not have an application.
And I have one more issue that I take issue with strongly. The OPAL network did not exist. It does now.
What was that? Would you repeat that?
The OPAL network referred to recently, that somebody's going to bust up the OPAL network. It wasn't that way, but it sure exists now.
Further discussion? Commissioner Ungst.
Okay, there seems to be definitely a lot of contention on this one. Is there a way we can do a process of interview? Or,
Yeah.
I know that's not going to line up with timing, but I'm just throwing that out there.
Okay. Any other discussion? Commissioner Stimson.
We literally did that yesterday. We had the two candidates that had applied come in and speak, talk to us about what they are. We had their applications. We heard from them. We made informed decisions. We've done this many times before. I mean, that is the history. And Commissioner Collins is 100% correct. You submit an application and then that application is heard and submitted. That application is circulated before all of us. That did not happen here. Because that wasn't what was wanted to happen here. They wanted to remove a person who is an obstacle to them. A person who has a dissenting opinion, a person who called somebody out on a wrongdoing, and so now they want to punish that person. And they could toss around all these other aspects and make up statements about I'm acting as my client. That's not true. John Tuckerman is not my client. He is not my client. Have I represented him in a traffic ticket years ago? Sure. That doesn't make him my client. Until you understand how the law works and what conflicts means, you really need to investigate that before you make outlandish allegations about my character. Because that's what you've been doing, Commissioner Martis, is you'd like to throw bombs in there about my character because you have no evidence of any of that. So yes, Commissioner Ungst, you have a process. And I think that's what Commissioner Collins is really frustrated about. Whether John Tuckerman gets this appointment or not for $20 or $30 every other month, that's not the point. The point is that you have a process, that we're going to follow that process that's fair and transparent for everybody to see, not deals made at the Coney Island before the meeting.
Discussion. Okay, before the clerk calls roll, just a couple things. I mean, this is not personal issue. And, you know, we've had some conversations here from Commissioner Tillison's and other people about business. These are business decisions, and it looks like we're taking these things more personally. You know, there's a few things in life that are inevitable, and one of them is change. I'm sure the Board of Supervisors, when they were forming the Board of Commissioners, and that was a big change, by the way, when they went from the Board of Supervisors to the Board of Commissioners. But more importantly, they knew that change was not only inevitable, but it was good. If it weren't, I think they would have made these all life positions, or positions that people held until they gave them up. But that's not what they did. They set terms, because we have a very qualified person and knowledgeable, a health professional that's interested. And while the past member is appreciated and we thank them for all the work that they did, change will keep us fresh and progressive. And a change is what we are looking at here. So this isn't a personal issue. Now, would the clerk please call the roll? Oh, we have Commissioner Tillotson.
Yeah, and in the statement you made, when we got towards the end, you talked about the person that was going to proceed, go on. In order to do this right, and God help us if we make a few mistakes along the line. But what concerns me is we're in a process of getting something that tells us who this new person is, where they live, where they work. In all fairness, instead of that's just half the equation. The other half of the equation is a person that they may replace. They ought to be able to have that same situation where they can put in an application. Now, because somebody is always on the board, that we forget that. So it can't quite work that way. Again, been around here a long time, and I understand the majority of the time we don't have any problem. And the people that set these, and I've been in a position where I helped set them. Okay? And we try to do the best we can, and there's generally somebody that's not satisfied. That's life. Yes, I understand, Jim, your position, and you're not the only one. I believe the vice chair does it. It is equally. But in this sense, because we know from past experience, it just is a point where we can't find out what John Tuckerman did wrong. And something must have been, there should be a reason, and there's no reason. Not that I've heard of yet. You know, I want everybody here to understand this is not the easiest job in the world to appoint these committees. And it's done with a couple of people because everybody's got a different opinion, and you got to do it so and so. I don't look down on this situation, but my problem is I think that the rest of us need to know what kind of a reason. And if you don't have a reason, it isn't the end of the world. If you don't lie, you're not going to have to remember what you said last. If you live like that, you'll be a pretty good, darn good person. And it's not an easy position. And I don't care, we can talk about this when we get through, we need to shake hands, we need to get along. And I'm going to stand on one side, But when I get done, I will expect that I got 8 people that understand where I came from and how I tried to do the job I was supposed to do. But in all fairness, it's not easy in them jobs when you're setting forth the committees. But we need to make sure that we have a reason for it. And that's why we're here to talk about that reason now. Thank you.
Commissioner Martis.
Just one quick clarification. Nobody's being removed. The term expired and these jobs are not lifetime appointments. They don't have a right to continue forever. None of us do. We are even more subject to the whim of the people than this, and it's at the pleasure of the chair. There's nobody being removed. It's ridiculous.
Sorry, sorry, Commissioner Collins, but we're under the two-person, two-time rule.
Then I'll ask permission of the chair to speak, which is allowed under the rule.
And I have the right, we're under the two limit.
So you're denying me the right to speak.
Yes.
I would ask that same right.
You asked what?
I would like to speak again, and I've spoken twice.
No, we're under the two-time limit. We'll be here all day, so. Any other commissioners? I'm sorry, Ralph, you're under the two-time too.
Yeah, point of order though. I wonder if anybody here realizes that anybody that's here has not spoken twice can give them that right.
Okay.
In all fairness. And I've spoken 2 times and I haven't got any rights. I understand that.
Okay, would the clerk please call the roll?
Question. We call the roll for what, right? Whether he's in,
Approval, it's, okay. With
The
the,
whole slate, it's not an
for
individual.
the board appointments, 2025 board appointments,
all appointments?
all
All
appointments
appointments.
that were presented.
Okay.
Everyone clear?
Mhm.
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Commissioner Collins.
No,
Commissioner Daly.
Yes.
Commissioner Krasny.
Yes.
Commissioner Martis.
Yes.
Commissioner Stimson.
No.
Commissioner Tillotson.
No.
Commissioner Van Doren.
Yes.
Commissioner Ungst.
No.
Commissioner Blanco.
Yes.
5 yes, 4 nay. No.
Thank
Okay,
you,
the
Mr.
committees are appointed.
Now we move on to item 3.
In just 1 minute.
Okay.
One thing when we leave here, and I've heard this a number of times today, and hopefully it's still truthful. I've learned a lot here today. This is my second term as county commissioner. I can tell you that these appointments, and I'm sure Commissioner Stimson and other commissioners can tell you the same, are not the easiest thing to do. We're looking for appointments all the time. We're trying to get a hold of people. So, but I heard a lot here today about, we should have applications ahead of time. We should, and there's some changes that we'll certainly address as we move forward. So the one thing I'm hopeful for is that we're under a consensus ruling here. And when we leave here today, hopefully we can all come back together and work for the people of this county and move forward at the county and not take these things personally. So I thank everyone for the discussion. I think there were a lot of good points made. I think there'll be some changes made in the future, but let's come back together and work for the people of Lenawee County. Continue on, Commissioner Martis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our next action item was the matter of the easement at the Maurice Spears campus. And I would like to say again, I appreciate Commissioner Tillotson, Commissioner Stimson's input on this matter yesterday. Were we able to get things resolved in such a fashion, Administrator Murphy, that they were able to proceed with the work?
I did send an email yesterday advising them that we had preliminarily approved the easement pending some language, and I gave them some sample language that was requested. Attorney Lully's office is working on the formal language that should be added. I did not hear back from them that we did indicate that it did appear after action today, assuming the easement went through, that we would be moving forward with that portion of the project.
So then the motion is appropriate then to proceed with this request as presented here, which is to recommend the board chairman sign the easement for electric facilities between Lenawee County and Consumers Energy for additional power at Maurice Spears campus. I so move.
Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Martis, supported by
Commissioner Blanco.
Commissioner Blanco. Sorry, wasn't looking there. So discussion, Commissioner Stimson.
And I think I heard Commissioner Martis say this, that this is what was passed yesterday, the same language. Okay. So nothing different.
I wanted to clarify.
Yeah, that as long as what we approved yesterday is what we're approving today, I'm fine with that.
Which is, just to refresh everyone, it's number one, to make sure that the easement isn't permanent, correct? It was your motion. Go ahead.
Yeah, the two modifications from the print version in intent, I'll label it that way. As Mr. Galluli's working on the specific language, was the section at the beginning of the easement, which allowed for the revocability of it if it's no longer used for electrical delivery purposes. And then the language at the end, Exhibit B, was merely a drawing, and there'd be incorporating some legal descriptions to, once the line is in place, to regulate exactly where that easement is.
So everyone's clear. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. And the motion is carried.
Forgive me, this is my first time in this position. Do we need motions to approve the minutes from both meetings then, or no?
No.
Okay, then that's all that I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And that will be the end of the standing committees. I'm going to go to board appointments and just ask for anybody here that had any board appointments that has anything to report out, because I don't think any of these were, they were mostly announced last month, and I don't think they've been since then. So does anybody have anything to bring under board appointments for the commission? Okay, thank you. Liaison appointments.
Same thing.
Same, okay, nobody has any. So we're currently under unfinished business. And under new business, we have a request letter for support for broadband equity access and deployment for the BEAD funding that's going to be coming out, and I'll turn it over to the administrator.
Okay, as part of funding for the ISPs, or the internet service providers, the state is offering up funding for them to apply to extend their services. We do not know right now the number of providers in Lenawee County that will be applying for that BEAD funding. However, the turnaround is very quick. That grant application process was just opened, or will be opening, I should say, I think tomorrow, January 9th. And then they will have to have their application submitted towards the end of the month or beginning of February. One of the things that the providers will ask for is a letter of support from the county commission. That just simply indicates, and the draft I think is in your packet, that we would be supportive of the entity applying for funding to potentially expand their service in our county. So because of the lack of availability to have another meeting, or to actually just schedule a meeting to have approval of individual letters, the request before you today is simply to allow the board chairman to sign the letters of intent, or the letters of support for any ISP that is in need of that for the BEAD funding grant application.
Is there a motion?
I so move.
I
Support.
have a motion by Commissioner Bartis, supported by Commissioner Blanco. Discussion, Commissioner Stimson.
And the letter in our packet on page 54 is the letter that we're suggesting.
It is a draft of the letter. Obviously, there are blanks that will be filled in depending upon who the provider is and what they're looking for.
Does the grant require any specific support, or can it be more general? Let me be more frank. I'm troubled with a blank. I believe that blank proposal represents a critical opportunity to expand. I don't know what proposal they're talking about. Their grant application, I've never seen it. I don't know if it's to just dig high-speed internet to Commissioner Krasny's house. I don't know. And so writing a blank letter of support, I have a trouble with when it is this level of detail. So do they need this level of detail? Do they need something that says that we support the expansion of broadband? Because I'm fine with the support of expansion of broadband. I'm fine with something more generic, but I've never seen a proposal, and I doubt I would ever see a proposal after kind of what I've seen today. So I'm not comfortable giving a blanket proposal to anybody. I don't think that's prudent on my part as a person who represents an entire district to just approve something that I've never seen. So do I approve the idea? 100%. Do I approve them making their applications and going through the grant? 100%. If the letter said something more generic in that way, I'd be 100% behind it. But this suggests specific proposals.
Commissioner Krasny.
Just for point of clarification, are you alluding to me that I benefit from this grant?
I'm not alluding that. I'm using it as an example.
Okay, I live rent-free.
Administrator Murphy.
So I will indicate that this was a letter that was drafted mostly to give you some perspective as to what we were looking for. It does not have to be this particular letter. What we're looking for really is to be able to have the board chairman sign a letter of support on behalf of the commissioners in support of an ISP's application for funding. So if there are suggestions as to some more generic language, I don't think that there is a problem in that. In the end, the providers are, as most of you are familiar with grants, you get points depending on different things within your application. And one of those things which weighs heavily when they are ranked is whether they have the support of the local county commissioners. So we are not necessarily married to the language in this particular letter. So if there is some additional language or removal of some language, we're not opposed to that either.
And Commissioner Stimson, I think as you recall, we hired a firm to analyze this, and they laid out all of the places. I think there were some 2,700 places in Lenawee County that didn't have internet access available. And since that time, we have also, along with the administration, myself and Commissioner Collins, met with some of the broadband people. Basically, what it comes down to is that they come in and they show where they want to extend it, and the commission can either approve it or not approve it with what we think is the amount of money that's being proposed to them versus what the county's going to get for it. So that's what the generic letter is. Go ahead, Commissioner Stimson.
And I understand what you're saying there, Jim. And I think in concept, what you're saying, that's appropriate. But what this letter says is that we've reviewed a proposal or something like that. And all I'm suggesting is that we make it a little more generic. I'm not married to what that generic aspect is, but I can't vote yes on something I've never seen. And this says that I approve a proposal. I've never seen a proposal. Can I vote yes on the expansion of broadband services into rural areas of our communities that are otherwise without that access? Absolutely. And any of the ISP providers that could try to obtain that funding to do those things, 100%. But I don't want to say I've approved some sort of plan that I've never seen.
So let me understand, you want to see every grant?
No, sir, that's not what I'm saying at all. And I understand the tight timelines. What I'm saying is this says we believe that blank proposal represents a critical opportunity. I don't know if I'll pick on DNP, right? DNP is a broadband provider in this county. DNP may have a proposal for the grant for the BEAD money. I've never seen it, so I can't say I support it. I don't know what it says.
So I guess you're losing me. So if you
You
can't,
just simply need to modify it more broadly. I think Administrator Murphy understands what I'm trying to say here, is that you just simply need to say, we support their applications. We don't have to say we support their specific application or we approve their specific application or their proposal. We support them applying. And if that meets the requirements under the grant for the point that they get, I'm all for it. But this particular letter, it says more than that.
Okay, so let's do this. If I can have the motion withdrawn from the person that made the motion, and we'll make another attempt of, what's the timing on this, Administrator Murphy?
I wish I had Francine in here. I don't recall. I know that like I said, the application is being let, I believe tomorrow, the addresses for each of the areas will be let by the MyHigh office. And I think that the applications are due back either at the end of January or very beginning of February. So I don't know if we would want to just simply basically authorize a generic letter in support of internet service providers in their application for BEAD funding for internet service to the communities within Lenawee County. And then we can have a very generic letter prepared. I don't know if someone's comfortable with something like that, or if somebody wants to take a look at the letter now, author it so that we have what everybody would be comfortable with. Not sure which way you want to go, but I understand where Commissioner Stimson is coming from, that he wants to show the funding unit or the BEAD agency that's giving money, that Lenawee County commissioners are supportive of having broadband expanded within Lenawee County, but he doesn't want to necessarily indicate that the commissioners have specifically approved of any one internet service provider's plan.
With that information being given, Commissioner Stimson, would you be more comfortable with a vote today that allows the administrator to get with corporate counsel with the information that was brought here today and draft a new letter, and then we'll have approval? So with that, the motion will include the fact that we're going to redraft the letter and have corporate counsel review it.
Have a motion.
Point of order, you have a motion on the floor. If we withdrew it, you could offer another motion that would be a cleaner way to do it.
Or he can amend it, or he can add to it, right?
I mean, you can, but it's cleaner to withdraw and reissue.
Let's withdraw it.
I withdraw, but then I have a comment. Could we not just authorize Commissioner Stimson, yourself, and Administrator Murphy with Corporation Counsel to draft the letter on our behalf and be done with it?
I'm fine with just Kim and Administrator
Okay.
Murphy and corporate counsel doing it. I trust their judgment and they understand what I'm trying to say here.
I do too.
I don't think there's anything nefarious going on with this.
No.
I think it's saying a little, it's overstepping you're a little bit out over your skis with the language.
So do you
Okay,
want to make the motion?
Motion has been withdrawn. Is there a new motion?
I'll simply make a motion to have the Administrator's Office and Corporate Counsel draft a letter in support of BEAD application grants on behalf of broadband providers for Lenawee County.
Support.
Discussion. All we doing here today?
It's a new day.
Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carried. Any other new business? Public comment. Any public comment? Mr. Gilman. Name and
Todd
address.
Gilman, Cambridge Township.
Okay.
This is a very interesting meeting today. You can kind of tell the good old boy network's a little upset with how the elections turned out in August and November. From the sounds of it, from some people on this board, I think term limits need to be addressed here in this county. As far as our county commissioners go, I don't think it's healthy for the county to have county commissioners that have been sitting for 20 years. We do need fresh blood. And I know you can answer this question, but was Mr. Tuckerman the head of the board when they invoked mask mandates throughout the county? Because if he was, that's reason enough for him not to be the head of that board anymore. And Mr. Stimson, yesterday when I got up here and publicly commented, when I was done, you happened to say something to me when I left. Would you like to repeat what that was? I heard you mumble something under your breath. I was just kind of hoping you would repeat it. Okay, thank you.
Any other public comment? Public comment. Commissioner comments. I think we've all earned our money today. Announcements.
I move we adjourn.
Or
I have a motion by Commissioner Martis, supported by Commissioner Blanco, Who, oh, pardon me?
Listen.
Oh, Tillison, sorry.
I don't mind being Blanco.
You might, sorry about that, Ralph.
That's okay.
I don't see much resentment.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. We're in